The wind howled across the black Atlantic, tearing through the massive ship that bore no mercy. Queen Anne's Revenge, its sails, torn and smeared with salt, groaned like the cries of the damned. The man who stood at the helm looked more beast than human. His beard, long and wild, was woven into twisted pigtails tied with black ribbons. Smoke rose from the burning fuses tucked beneath his hat, giving the illusion that his head itself was wreathed in fire. Edward Teach. The world would come to know him as Blackbeard. He laughed, the sound deep and terrible, echoing across the storm-scarred waves. Lightning split the sky behind him, framing his silhouette like a figure of hell. "Another ship, boys!" he roared, eyes blazing. "Bring her in. Let them see what fear looks like." The crew erupted into cheers, their faces illuminated by flashes of gunfire. Cannons boomed. Splinters of wood and screams filled the air. The merchant ship ahead tried to flee, but Blackbeard's vessel was a predator. It circled relentless until the doomed crew could do nothing but surrender. When the smoke cleared, the deck ran red. The surviving sailors knelt trembling, eyes fixed on the dark figure who strode toward them. "Mercy," one begged, voice cracking. Blackbeard grinned, teeth glinting. "Mercy," he mocked, his voice thick with rum and thunder. "I've no use for that word." And with that, he drew his cutlass, the blade already slick with sea spray and death, and let it fall. That night, as his men drank and danced among the spoils, Blackbeard stood alone at the bow, staring into the horizon. The wind whispered his name. Somewhere, deep beneath the surface, the sea seemed to sigh. He closed his eyes. "Mine," he muttered, "all of it mine." But the ocean never truly belongs to anyone, and it never forgets. Off the coast of North Carolina, where the waves crashed against crooked rocks and the moon shone cold and watchful, lay Ocracoke Island. At the far end of the cove was a stretch of water locals called Teach's Hole, a name whispered with both awe and dread. It was here that Blackbeard anchored when he wanted to vanish. The cove was narrow, hidden, the water deep enough for his ship to rest unseen. By night, the beach came alive with his revelry, bonfires blazing, barrels of rum cracking open, the thunder of drums and laughter echoing across the dunes. His men drank until dawn, their songs laced with madness. Flames danced on the waves, casting wild shapes into the mist. But the townsfolk on the mainland, they watched from afar. They saw the red glow on the horizon, heard faint shouts carried by the wind, and shuddered. They said that when Blackbeard's crew partied, the dead danced with them. That sometimes when the wind turned right, you could hear the screams of the men he'd slaughtered mingling with their songs. One autumn night, a fisherman anchored nearby. He had lost his way in the fog and sought shelter in a quiet cove. From his boat, he saw the fires flicker to life upon the beach. Laughter rolled over the water. Figures swayed around the flames. Too many figures. He frowned. There hadn't been ships for weeks. Then a voice drifted from the shore. "Join us, friend." He squinted, heart pounding. One of the dancers turned toward him, face lit by firelight. The man's throat was slit from ear to ear. The fisherman screamed, cut his anchor line, and rode into the fog as fast as his arms could move. Behind him, laughter followed, wild, echoing, impossible. By morning, when he told the tale, no one believed him. But they stopped fishing near Teach's Hole after that. Some places, they said, belonged to the dead. By 1718, the colonies had had enough. Trade was strangled, sailors terrified, and the seas ruled by the black flag. News of Blackbeard's cruelty spread from Kingston to Charleston. Even the bravest captains refused to sail near the Carolinas. Governor Alexander Spotswood of Virginia, proud, ruthless, eager for glory, decided it was time to end the reign of the devil. He summoned Lieutenant Robert Maynard of the Royal Navy. "You will hunt him down," the governor said, slamming his hand upon a map. "You will bring me his head." Maynard, a disciplined man hardened by war, saluted sharply. "Aye, sir. I will bring the pirate to justice." 2 small sloops were armed and crewed, and by November 21st, Maynard's ships sailed south, cutting through churning seas toward Ocracoke. They reached the island at dawn. Mist rolled thick across the water, the sun little more than a ghost behind it. Quiet, Maynard whispered. "He's near." Through the fog, a black silhouette emerged. Adventure. Blackbeard's ship anchored close to shore. The faint echo of laughter drifted from it, mingling with the scent of smoke. Maynard's pulse quickened. The pirate stood at the rail, his beard whipping in the wind, his eyes burning like coals. "Ahoy, Navy dogs!" he shouted, voice booming. "Come to dance, have you?" Maynard's reply was a cannon blast. The battle that followed shook the island. Cannon fire tore through the fog. With splintered, men screamed. One of Maynard's ships was ripped apart by Blackbeard's guns, its deck slick with blood. But the lieutenant was cunning. He ordered his surviving men to hide below deck, leaving his ship appearing deserted. When the pirates boarded, laughing in triumph, Maynard's men burst from below, blades drawn. The air erupted with steel and fury. And somewhere in the chaos, destiny waited. Blackbeard moved through the fight like a storm. His cutlass sang, his pistols roared, his laughter chilled the blood. "Come on then," he bellowed. "Which of ye dares to die first?" Maynard met him head-on. Their swords clashed, sparks flying, eyes locked in hatred and fire. The sound of battle faded around them. It was only the two of them now. "You've murdered, plundered, and damned your soul," Maynard growled. Blackbeard sneered, teeth red with blood. I've lived more in 2 years than you'll in 20 lifetimes." The fight raged across the deck, blades flashing, blood sprayed. Blackbeard was hit once, twice, 5 times, yet he did not fall. He fought like a man possessed, roaring like thunder, refusing to die. Then a sailor struck from behind, one brutal swing. The blade cut deep across his throat. Blackbeard staggered. His eyes widened. Disbelief etched across his monstrous face. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then he fell to his knees, muttering words no man could understand. As the last breath rattled from his lungs, the sea began to stir. Waves rose higher, slamming against the hulls. A gust of wind howled through the rigging. Carrying what sounded like laughter, Maynard stood over the fallen pirate. "It's over," he whispered. But it wasn't. Not truly. They cut off his head, mounted it on the bowsprit, and cast his body into the sea. The waters churned, dark and furious, as though rejecting the offering. The ocean took him, but not his rage. Months passed. The sea grew quiet again, but the island did not. Sailors began to whisper of strange lights in the cove, blue flames flickering upon the water, shadows moving beneath the surface. Fishermen heard singing on windless nights, deep haunting, the voice of a man long dead. Some said if you listened closely, you could still hear the clink of mugs and the crackle of bonfires. One night, a merchant vessel drifted near Ocracoke during a storm. The captain, weary and lost, looked out over the railing. Lightning flashed, and for a moment he saw it, a massive figure, headless, standing waist-deep in surf. Its chest rose and fell, though no breath came. Its arms reached out toward the waves, groping blindly. Then, in a flash of white fire, it was gone. The crew said the sea glowed red that night, as though remembering blood. Over time, the tales grew darker. Sailors claimed to see a ghost ship moving silently through the mist, black sails, burning fuses, no crew aboard. When it appeared, storms followed, and in the distance, faint and terrible, laughter rolled across the water. Some said Blackbeard was searching still, his head lost to the depths, his soul chained to the cove. Centuries have passed. The pirates are long gone. The empire that hunted them is dust. Yet on quiet nights, when the wind turns and the moon hides her face, Teach's Hole wakes once more. Locals avoid the beach after dark. Tourists don't believe the stories. Until they do. There was a boy once, a diver, who wanted proof. He went down into the cove with a camera, laughing at the warnings. If Blackbeard's down there, he joked, I'll shake his hand. They found his boat the next morning, drifting. The camera was recovered from the deck. The footage showed murky water, the beam of a light cutting through green gloom. Then a shape, human, large. The boy gasped, bubbles rising fast. What the hell? Something surged from the dark, pale arms reaching, ropes trailing like veins. The image shook violently. A glimpse of torn cloth, a glint of steel, and then nothing but red. The last frame showed a face, pale, bloated, eyes wide with rage, and no head upon its shoulders. They never found a diver's body. Now, fishermen say they see lights under the water, faint, flickering, like candles burning deep below. The waves sometimes carry laughter, far too close ashore. And when fog rolls across the island, some swear they see a black shape rising from the sea, dripping and headless, searching. Blackbeard's body still wanders the depths, forever seeking what was stolen, his head, his pride, his vengeance. The ocean keeps its secrets, but not its ghosts. And if you stand on the sands of Teach's Hole at midnight, when the tide is low and the air grows still, you might see him too, the headless shadow rising from the waves, the smoke of hell still clinging to him. He will not rest. He cannot rest. The seer remembers, and so does he.